Hi, I'm Dino Tripodis, and tonight on Whiskey Business, no whiskey. What? We'll explain tonight on Whiskey Business. Hi, I'm Dino Tripodis, and welcome to Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey, but not tonight. Tonight, in only the second time in the history of this little podcast, we go dry on Whiskey Business. And the reason, I think actually when I started to think about the whole thing, tonight we're going to have some fun reminiscing. The theme of tonight's podcast is it was a good idea at the time. Which is what we've always said after a night of drunken stupidness and a little bit of overconsumption, hungover, whatever the case might be. We're going to share some of our favorite and at times worst drinking memories this evening. And our guest tonight is a very, very dear friend of mine. He's been on the podcast before. He was more than willing to share his talents when we were doing the premise, which we hope to come back to.
We got to do that again.
We got to bring it back.
But Jeff Gage is back with us. Woo-hoo! And Jeff said, hey, I'd love to do the podcast, but I quit drinking. Is that a problem? And we've had non-drinkers on the podcast before. No, it's not a problem. But then I started to think about a lot of people are doing Sober September. And some people, as John Whitney pointed out to me, said, I always thought it was Sober October.
Oh, that rhymes.
You know
That's
what?
Good,
any month of the year could be a sober one for you if you choose to. But a lot of people have been doing
or
Sober
all of
September.
Them.
All of them.
Right? Or all, some people.
Can't be. And I thought, tonight, why not, if we're going to talk about drunken behavior, why not do it sober? And try it that way for a change.
Time for a
and
break
also,
anyway.
a salute, a nice non-alcoholic salute to everybody out there who is actually trying to go sober in September and maybe trying to change their ways. We'll find out why Jeff decided to quit drinking here in just a little bit. And so cheers to everybody who is attempting and succeeding at sobriety. Amen. God bless you.
It's hard.
You know what? Everybody's got reasons, and everybody's got their own reasons why, and their own reasons why they don't. And we'll get into all of that as well tonight on Whiskey Business, because I know that as an adult man, it's 63 years of age, it's harder to recover. From,
isn't it?
It's harder to recover.
At 38, it takes me a week.
Yeah, when you tell me your little stories about, oh man, I'm like,
pussy.
That's the word I'm thinking of, but I'm like, oh man, you have no idea. But
I got spots on my liver older than you, kid.
right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But before we get into all of that this evening, I want to say thank you to the Columbus Podcast Awards. We are fast becoming the Chicago Bulls of Columbus podcasting. We three-peated.
The comedy podcast.
We three-peated, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Thank you for voting, everybody. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Congrats. We won Best Comedy Podcast of the Year again.
You think it was Andreessen?
Wait, comedy?
About 20 times? Andreessen?
Rick Andreessen. Whoever voted.
Let me see that, Johnny.
And you add that to a Podcast of the Year, which we got the very first time. I'm starting to think you're not allowed to win Podcast of the Year more than once. Maybe
let's start that rumor just so we
Yeah.
after the first one George Washingtoned it so that other people
that's it.
could win.
Did you get were you at the awards?
I was at the awards. Yes.
Did you get the stink eye from the other nominees?
No, I did not get the other stink eye. And I was, and then there were some great nominees. There was one of the nominees was a podcast that called Canned Air, which I'm a fan of, which is deals with a lot of pop culture stuff. And,
oh wow!
And
have you been on that?
No, I have not been on that. Not been on that.
Get them on.
And we get Best Comedy Podcast, but if anybody has any history in listening to Whiskey Business, yes, almost on each and every podcast, we laugh and we have fun and there's comedy, but we get involved in some very serious topics. last week. Our last week's podcast was a very deep, dark, and serious one, which we suggest that you check out as well, without going into more detail about that. But just go into the archives and check it out, because it's become one of the more compelling podcasts.
This
in
part of the
recent
podcast
memories.
is retracted.
No, it's not. No, it's become one of the more compelling podcasts.
So you could get another award next year for dramatic.
Well, yeah,
podcast. Right?
True
Yeah,
crime.
That's right.
Yeah, they always say that comedians make some of the best dramatic actors.
Exactly.
Maybe comedians make some of the best dramatic podcasters.
Absolutely. That's right.
I don't know. I doubt it.
Start doing podcasts about hauntings.
Hey,
Well,
speaking of
speaking
the
of
devil,
coming up, right?
Speaking of which, we got our Hansberry's wishes coming true on October the 11th.
That's right. We're doing our first ever live Halloween special. It's a Halloween special, like Home Improvement Net used to have and all that stuff. Yeah.
Are you gonna dress up? I mean,
Well, so
for a podcast?
I think it'd be fun.
Costume optional.
costumes are so we're doing a live podcast at 451 Spirits, which is
In front of a studio audience,
right.
not live on here. Yes.
correct.
Oh, nice.
Right.
So you can buy tickets. We've got links on Facebook and Instagram. But we teamed up with our buddies at 451, our buddy Jesse Hubbard, who is behind St. Russell Productions. But you ask about costumes. One of our guests is going to be Hope Madden and George Wolf,
Right.
who do a horror movie podcast, and they just made a movie. So they're going to be our guests.
Oh, wow.
And the first thing he said was, "We're wearing a costume."
They're wearing costumes.
So they're wearing
Okay,
costumes.
so they're coming in costume. I'm gonna dress up as somebody who knows what the hell they're doing on a daily
right.
basis.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be kind of fun and exciting.
I'm Robert Evans. I'll be Robert Evans, I think.
Robert
Evans. That'd be great, Bubby.
You gotta get that smoky voice.
Oh, yeah, Bubby.
Oh man. Hansberry, where are you going?
I got a prop.
You got a prop.
Yeah, I just got this. I got this in the mail today.
All right. Okay. You're very
Nice.
excited. The boy loves Halloween.
This is congratulations to our boy. This is our other guest,
This is our other guest. Yes.
Bucky Cutright
Who was
The
on the
author.
podcast last year.
of Haunted Cemeteries of Ohio.
You know what?
He's
My
been on the
wife
show
would.
before, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My wife would love that. She loves the haunted.
She would love. She should go back and listen to our podcast with Bucky. It was one of our
Last Halloween, yeah.
Last Halloween, one of our more
Kind
popular
of hard
ones.
to take a guy serious named Bucky. You know? It's
Well, I believe he uses his author's name
Yeah,
in the book. He's
it's initials.
E.R. Cutright.
And if you have initials,
Now that
then
sounds
you have
like
to
an
take.
author.
Yeah. But anyway, I just got this in the mail. He's got a new book out. We've had him on. He does the Columbus Ghost Tours, but he's going to be our guest at this live whiskey business.
Yeah, so
October
we've got-
11th. It's a Tuesday.
We got Bucky. We got Hope and George talking about Obstacle Corpse. And are we going to have music? Did we say?
Well, so Chad, who owns and runs 451, he's a musician, and he's got a bunch of stuff there. So we talked about maybe he could play. I've got a Halloween song I was talking to him about maybe playing too. So
no, I don't think we're going to.
Dang, I was trying to slip it in. I was trying to slip it in without Dina knowing.
I'm sorry,
We're full.
We're out of time.
Cut for time.
We're gonna have to bump you to next Halloween.
Not enough room on the marquee, right? Sorry.
You're gonna get a lot of this us on social media. We're gonna plug the hell out of it because it's gonna be fun, and we want you to come. So tickets are $20, but you get a free cocktail. Jesse Hubbard's making a cocktail with all the stuff there at 451.
Yeah.
With dry ice. So it'll have like
It's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it.
Anyway,
there's
can't wait to see you guys out there.
the place is not big, so once it gets full, it's full. Once it's done, it's done. So
I'm pumped.
But tickets are available now as we speak. We'll get to the other business later. I want to start talking to Jeff.
Subscribe. Smash that subscribe button.
Yeah, smash that. We'll get to the more details towards the end. But thank you to Evergreen Podcast Network for letting us be in your podcast family. So we have to get that one out of the gate every time, each and every time. Jeff Gage, how are you, buddy?
Good, man. Good to see you.
welcome.
I just thanks for having me. I just like that smash the button. If you actually did smash the button, wouldn't that not work? So I mean,
Right?
there's
It works
something
better than
wrong with that term.
Politely click.
Yeah,
Politely
yeah.
click.
Just click. Click here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or you can go sexy. Massage that button.
Massage that.
Get that.
Massage
Gently
that
rub
button.
it back and
Yeah,
forth.
back and forth.
Get that button.
Faster,
Work it. Faster,
slow,
faster.
No,
Now
no,
slow.
no, no, no,
Slow.
no, slow. Slow down. Slow down.
Now faster again.
Hard. Smash it.
Oh man. So,
We're sober.
you and I, that's the thing, and we're sober. You and I,
It's the
and
first time
everybody-
ever I think we've been together and sobriety's been involved. We go
this
back.
This is a first. We
Yeah,
go.
right.
We go way back.
Yeah.
Comedically speaking, we go back to improv days.
Yeah.
But then at the Funny Bone, especially when it was at the Continent,
Yes.
we had many a libation adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Over the
Absolutely.
course of the years, and had a damn good time doing it.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, just throwing out ideas, just spitballing. We
Right.
remember going to the Danube afterward. Like
That was
a
one of
bunch
my
of comics
favorite
would go
things, man.
meet
It was-
afterwards.
It was the best.
You
Are you
Almost
testing
took them
me?
out there with adjusting the mic.
You almost smashed my button.
Yeah.
Great
callback.
That was that was classic, man. That was great.
Yeah,
'Cause
it
the
was-
Dude was open till like 2:00 in the morning,
Right.
And it was back when you could smoke in a restaurant as
Right.
well. So you'd have all these great young comedic minds just gathering after an open mic night or after a show at the Funny Bone.
And they served alcohol, too.
Yeah, they served
Yeah.
alcohol and food. You know,
Yeah.
you get the French fries with beef gravy,
Fried mushrooms.
It was like I always compared it to the movie Diner.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
it felt like Diner. You got these friends who bust each other's balls, and a lot of funny stuff came out of those nights, and a lot of drunken nights.
Oh,
as well.
yeah, a lot of drunken nights.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think part of my drinking condition, I hate to blame it on that lifestyle, but because I didn't drink as a performer or on stage, we always drank afterward. Well, after the show, the audience is already 5 drinks ahead of you, so
Right.
it's time to play catch-up ball, right? I'm going to take this into the fourth quarter, and get us into overtime.
Well, that's
So
interesting.
it's like you get off stage, it's like, I want 2 beers, 3 shots. Let's go. Now let's even the playing field. Now I'm ready to party. Let me suck these down, and we can party.
Yeah, because you guys, aside from maybe taking a sip of water to hydrate yourselves, you really
Right.
didn't have the casual. I always had a drink on stage.
Yeah,
and
you
and
did.
back when comedy clubs were allowed smoking, I smoked and drank on stage.
Yeah,
I was happy as a
absolutely.
clam, and so I was right there with the audience, sometimes
Yeah.
ahead of the audience.
I remember a couple of Christmas. Yeah, have you seen those? Yeah.
There been a couple.
That was a
of,
festive holiday spirit. Yeah.
yeah. That and I'm not saying this in a bragging way whatsoever, but some of those Christmas shows were ridiculous. I think one year I did a shot for every comic on stage. No, somebody in the audience said, if you do a shot for every comic, and that year there was like 15 or 8, some crazy amount of comics, more than 12.
Yeah.
And if you do a shot for every comic on stage, I will double whatever you guys make. Well, it was for my charities, so
That's
throw down. I go, Chip. You're
You
laughing.
had to do it.
Our fifth Beatle, Chip Cassell's in the background chuckling. I did it for the I did it for the kids.
He did. It was all for the kids.
I did it for the kids.
That's right.
But yeah,
Maybe one of those kids will give you a liver later.
maybe right
When you're
right.
ready for a transplant.
Wouldn't that to be the best, most heartwarming story?
Hey,
Hell of an idea.
kid, you owe me. I saved your life once.
Oh man,
farming
that's a Hallmark
strategy.
movie waiting to happen. The Christmas without a liver.
It's just great to see Santa Claus shit faced. Just that's the thing. Whenever you see a Santa Claus out of context, I had a friend of mine dressed as Santa Claus years ago. Speaking of drinking, and this is at close. He wore it just so he could, get girls to sit on his lap at a bar, basically, because the guy was.
That was never my motivation.
That's a hell of
No,
an
Let
idea.
me
no.
just go on record as saying that.
But
A happy coincidence. That
I
it
just
happened
remember
afterward,
leaving. Yeah, I just remember leaving the bar and see this. It was surreal, Plus, I'm already buzzed, and I look out, and in the middle of the street is Santa Claus squaring off, fist fighting with. these scenes you don't expect to see in your lifetime. It's like, Santa's duking it out with somebody out in the middle of the street at 2:30 in the morning.
That's great.
And that seemed perfectly normal.
Jesus.
For 2:30 in the morning, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite quotes in the cocktail book that I wrote some 12 years ago, the 25 Days of Christmas Cocktail.
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite quotes in the book that I wrote. I said, "Don't get drunk with a mall Santa. He doesn't remember anything you asked for."
There you go.
Yeah, very true. So I want to get into where you're at now with drinking a little bit later.
Sure.
But to kick this off, as you go down your drinking history, as it were,
Right.
Is there one spectacular moment that you recall that you were like, that was my all-time? Once again, the theme, it was a good idea at the time and then went awry. Can you remember any major story or are there
A lot of them, I remember the beginning part.
Do you remember?
And then there's a blackout, and then you wake up and go, wow, I must have spilled that bottle of whiskey. I just opened it, It's, and then you go, no, you drank the whole bottle,
Right.
It's like, oh, shit. That's why I feel like crap today. So I don't remember anything. I used to always associate, because it's a party, right? You have cocktails at a party. Everything's associated with fun, and I just always associated alcohol with fun. To the point where I thought that's the only way I could have fun. If I don't have alcohol, then what's the point?
That's the problem.
Yeah. It is a problem.
That's go ahead.
And everything's a party.
To kind of build off that, as a comedian, do you equate? Oh, I got to be funny equals drunk. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, I can't be funny, or I can't come up with clever things unless I'm.
Yeah, no,
consuming.
because I never drank before shows. It was always after the show. I mean, occasionally I would have one, but I learned early on. I mean, because we did improv and it was ensemble work.
You gotta be sharp. You gotta be sharp.
And you're trying to communicate on stage with other actors. It was, well, I'll tell you, this is a good drunk story.
There we go.
I
knew we'd get to it eventually.
We did a benefit show. And they hired us for this benefit thing to entertain a bunch of golfers at a country club, and they had this tell you how this was when Fritz the Night Owl was still on the air.
Oh,
and
wow.
Fritz
Okay.
was there. He was the MC, and that was when I first got to meet Fritz. Actually, one of the first times I met him, and so. Fritz is there, and and they had an open bar, and we're doing it. It's a benefit show. We're not getting paid, but I'll take my payment in alcohol.
Yeah.
It's what we thought. And we're
Two
young
of the
kids.
greatest words in the comedian lexicon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Open bar.
Open bar
Yeah.
or a wedding, anything.
Yep.
Look out! It's time to get my dancing shoes on, right? So, and we were supposed to, they were doing a golf outing, everybody's going out, and somebody thought it would be a great idea to have the comics at each green to heckle the golfers while they're trying to putt, or they're putting out.
In theory,
And I don't know
that's
if you
kinda
guys, it is. It sounds funny in theory.
Sure, yeah.
But if you've ever golfed or know anybody who's a serious golfer, these guys hated our guts.
Oh, I bet.
And so we realized after about 3 holes of going, hey, miss it, and saying shit, they're like, shut the fuck up. These guys were like, I'll club you. And we're like, okay, we're back.
Yeah.
So we said to the bar, and so we stayed in the bar and got shit-faced before we were supposed to close. All right, now these people already hate us because we were heckling them. And while they were golfing, they come in and see us, and we're shit-faced. And we're like, hey, who's ready to have a good time?
And you had to do a show still?
We still had to do a show
my
in
God.
front of people who already hate us.
Nice.
And we're drunk. And nothing's going right. And even Mike Loftus might tell you this story. I mean, I remember it. There's they're heckling us. They're saying shit, just yelling out random shit because they've been drinking the whole time too. And Loftus says, "Oh, I didn't recognize." He goes something to the heckler. He tries to use the heckler like a stock heckler line. He goes, "I didn't recognize you with your dick in my mouth."
With your dick in my mouth. That didn't
And
come
I'm
out
like,
right.
"Hey, Michael, I think you got that back." And so that at the end of that gig, we tucked our tails, got out of there. Fortunately, we didn't have to wait to get paid, like you do at most clubs.
Right.
But that's when we instituted the rule: no drinking before shows.
Good one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you
yeah.
got to learn your lesson.
We did. We
and then
learned-
apply it. Yeah,
exactly.
Sure. Speaking of Loftus, and speaking of drinking, I remember his wedding.
Oh, you're right.
Remember that?
Oh, speaking of drinking.
Speaking of
yes,
drinking?
yes, I do.
Who was responsible for almost bringing that to a screeching halt?
Oh boy, that
Yours-
was uncomfortable.
Yours truly.
Yeah.
What, you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I had a big flask in my tuxedo pocket, and then we were in the rectory, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
have heard this story.
Yeah, and then the priest came back and saw that, and he was not happy.
No, you would have thought we were in a Baptist church.
I will stop this wedding.
Yeah.
I will stop this wedding for that. And like, okay,
You got to smooth it over.
Huh?
And you had to smooth it over.
I don't even know if I smoothed it over. I got to be honest with you. At that
Well,
point,
they got married, though.
They got married. Yeah, they did get
Yeah.
married, but
Still married.
Still married. Yeah.
There you go.
But I was like,
That's funny.
All because you had a flask? Were you
Yeah.
drinking out of it?
We
or-
oh
got
yeah,
that.
we were
We were passing it
drinking.
around,
Yeah,
the
passing
whole
around
wedding party.
the whole
Yeah.
everybody. We
Yeah.
were all
Yeah.
yeah.
When I got married, the priest gave us that spiel, like, this is a holy, it was a Catholic wedding, so he gave us this is a holy sacrament, blah, blah, blah. If, basically, if you come in here drunk or shit-faced or, hungover,
You're out.
Who does he think he is?
Yeah, that's right. I thought Catholics liked to drink.
Yeah.
well,
what I'm saying.
but then we did communion and the party, and then it was all
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah.
yeah.
And the priest is shit faced at the reception.
Yeah, I wish I would have thought of that. Oh, I can't have whiskey back here, but we're gonna have wine later during the
right.
ceremony.
Yeah.
Fine.
Hypocrite.
Jesus.
Exactly. Jesus turned water
That's
into
right.
wine.
Yeah.
It was his idea.
That's always a Catholic, a go-to line to justify party.
Yeah.
Hey, Jesus
Yeah,
drinks
right.
wine.
You think if Jesus could have turned water into whiskey, the Bible would be way different?
Oh yeah, it'd be a lot more wars. Yeah, a lot more hillbillies involved.
What about you, Hansberry? So you're the youngest of the
Yeah.
group here. So your memories are probably a bit more fresh.
Sharper.
Well, I said fresh, not sharper.
So, I mean, this is the most recent one.
Okay.
And actually, since then, I've actually cooled down. Well, actually, two. We've talked about it before on this podcast. One of the Halloween episodes, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
God.
Like I'm on. You can go back and watch the podcast, and I'm doing this.
He was. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I can laugh about it now.
Yeah. What were you drinking? What?
Whiskey.
Yeah.
The joke is that we have 100 proof whiskey and it's going into a 40 proof body.
I think it was old granddad.
Yeah, it might have been.
Old
Might have
granddad.
been.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 100 proof stuff will sneak up on you, won't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to.
I only had 2.
Yeah, right. 2 bottles.
Yeah.
There's this Columbus band called Camp, and all the kids like
yeah,
them.
They're huge. They're huge.
yeah,
Yeah.
huge.
And my buddy, it was one of their realtors. You're a realtor, aren't you?
Yes.
He was one of their realtors so he's like, hey, I got these tickets. You want to come see Camp? I'm like, sure, yeah. This is all the cool kids are going to see Camp.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them, like whatever. So I didn't care. I was sauced. And then towards the end of the show,
It's a
they're
great
like,
word, by the way.
well,
sauced.
That is.
they're like, oh, we get to go. We go back to the green room. I'm like, fuck yes. Then that's when the weed starts coming out.
Yeah, so now you know it's a rock show.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm from sauce to loaded. But I was toast, and my buddy left. He and his wife tried to get me to go with them, but I was too cool to I wanted to stay. I wanted to be with the rock stars. I woke up in right outside of Kimball Live. There's that green pasture.
Yeah.
No, there's a grassy area right by the the parking lots.
Yeah.
I woke up there. My phone was dead, and so I'm freaking out. So I'm like, oh fuck. So I get up.
Did you know where you were though?
Or
were you
did sleep there all night
Yeah.
long?
Well,
Did you wake up in the morning?
so I woke up.
What a time!
What a beautiful day!
I was spooning with a
Why am
homeless
I
guy.
outside?
But luckily, so I walk and I'm bubbling around, trying to find somewhere, and I find a bar that is closed, but the you know how afterwards the bartenders always hang out.
Yes.
And I just kind of stumble in, and there's this two people. One was this bitch who was get out of here, and the other guy took mercy on me. I was like, I just need to charge my phone, man. So I just sat there. He got me water, charged my phone. I looked at it. It was 4:35, and it had 16 missed calls from my wife.
Oh my god!
Someone's in trouble.
I was fucked. And the worst part about it is I go home and she, where were you? And I didn't have an answer. I go,
No, the only thing you got at
don't
that
know.
point is the sad truth.
I don't know. Exactly.
Yeah, that's when you come clean.
Exactly.
You if you try to come up with a story
Right.
at that point, you're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Nah.
sinking deeper into the abyss.
So that I thought was it until later that morning, my buddy who I was there with calls me. He was like, "Oh fuck, dude! Oh man!" And I go, "Oh god, what
What
did I do?"
happened? Yeah.
I barfed all over the green room.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's not green anymore.
Chunky
Or
green.
greener.
Yeah,
Oh,
greener.
yeah.
Depends on what he had
Yeah.
for dinner.
But that was a turning point for me. I think you can agree. Sometimes there's shitty moments where you're like, all right, and then you take stock and you're like, all right. I mean, not that I'm a saint now or I'm not sober, but sometimes there's things where you're like, all right,
Sure.
I gotta rein it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moments in your life where you realize I've been oversauced.
Yeah, and somebody has to help you piece it back
Right,
together
yeah.
the next day, and it's
Yeah.
like that movie Memento.
It's true.
Right? It's like wait,
Tattooed on my
I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't dancing on a bar stool with my pants around my ankle. Wait, I thought I dreamt that. I guess I did. Yeah, and that's a true story. That's another drinking thing.
What?
Where
That you had your pants around your ankles?
apparently I did. Yes, and I did remember when somebody told me, "Man, you were shit-faced Saturday night," and I was like, I was, but I don't. Where were you? I never saw you. You were at the bar. I was like, I didn't go to the bar. I was at a party, and then I remember. Wait, yeah, we did leave the party and we stopped for a night. And he's like, yeah, you were dancing on the bar and you were shooting the moon there. I had your pants. I'm like,
Wow.
and then it started. It's like that fog. It's like, oh shit, I did do that. I kind of remember it, but I would have totally forgotten.
Yeah.
It had it not. Somebody
You had your
reminded
pants
me.
down by your ankles. You shot the moon.
Yeah, you
and
were-
now you're wanted for murder.
Yeah, you're wanted.
What?
Yeah, but what? I got to get out of here. What's this little piece of paper in my pocket?
First, I went to Ohio State, and we partied pretty hard. But I remember my 21st birthday, we were all drinking before we were 21.
sure, right.
But when I
Yeah,
officially
right.
turned 21, pants around the ankles story. I remember saying to my girlfriend at the time, I never really cared for my birthday to begin with. I said, I just want to just ease into this, turn 21. It's not like I haven't been drinking. It's not going to be my first drink. We went to what I think now is the Thirsty Scholar. It used to be the Black Forest Inn.
Yes.
On Lane
Yeah.
Avenue.
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
the Black Forest Inn. And some of you who are longtime Columbus, Ohio residents might remember a lovely, short little lady, Esther Craw, who used to play the
Esther,
accordion.
yeah, she used to play at Dibbles too.
And at Planks,
Yeah.
and she was this short little lady, and she sang and played. She was playing at the Black Forest in that time, and word got out that it was my birthday, and friends started to trickle in, and before you know it, more than 3 sheets to the win, and I was, even back then, I was a huge Frank Sinatra fan, and so to cap it off, I got up on the table, dropped my pants, not complete trout, just in my underwear, and sang "My Way," being accompanied by Esther Craw on the accordion.
Oh,
she played
my God.
"My Way" on the accordion, and I sang "My Way" at 21. I was doing it my way, and it was like one of the greatest and saddest moments of my life, all at the same time. All at the same time.
Wow.
It was great. That was like, and I go here. Okay, that's the first big story. What was the first time? Do you remember the first time you got drunk?
Yes.
Yes. How old were you?
I hate to say it, but I was probably 12 or 13.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
got
I
me
started
beat.
young. I
You
mean,
got me beat.
it was the 70s. Come on, everyone was doing it.
I did it about 12 years old.
Yeah.
I'm not. Oh, Whitney, you're not escaping this conversation.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'm coming to you in just a second, my friend.
We got Colt 45s, the tall cans, and somebody knew how to shoot beers. And so we were, and when you're 12, and you're shooting a Colt 45, and you do about 3 of those.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Your body's not prepared for that.
Yeah, you're not.
That's a
now-
12-year-old body's not prepped for that kind of alcohol abuse.
It was daylight. It was still daylight. It was in the summertime. We were walking on the tracks, railroad tracks, and because couldn't.
Probably warm too, right? Because you had to hide them.
Yeah.
that was always the
they were.
thing.
It was summertime, so they were definitely warm. But I just remember being drunk with my friends, and that's when my drinking started. Young.
Did you get sick?
Not that time. Got sick another time. Spent the night at a friend's house and drank vodka. Somebody got us a 5th of Smirnoff, and all he had was Dr. Pepper. So, and we were camping out, and he had his father had like a wood shop, but they had a patio thing with a pool table. So we stayed out in this wood shop. So his parents didn't know we were out there. It was just a buddy of mine and another friend, and there was 3 of us, and 3 of us pounded a 5th of vodka, at like 14 or what. We weren't even old enough to drive. And I just remember, what I do remember was waking up in my sleeping bag, and it was covered with vomit.
Yeah.
And I remember not drinking vodka for about 30 years after that, or Dr. Pepper. Just how you have a bad experience with something. It's like just the smell of it, would just like, oh no, I'm never gonna touch that.
The
stuff
jingle
again.
would make me kind of go.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a pepper. He's
It's
a
like
pepper.
sensory, sensory. Yeah.
Yeah,
Horrible.
it just reminds you of that really bad, and that was my first really bad hangover too. 'Cause I woke up that next day and I had thrown up. My head was throbbing. I was just sick. I'm sure we were smoking pot too back then.
And what is it we don't learn? We don't learn. You know what I mean? In theory, great. You kick this habit when you're 14. You know what I mean?
Right.
Never do that again.
That goes back to
And
the old
then-
adage: "What doesn't kill you makes you, unfortunately, stronger."
Right.
You start to
Yeah,
think that you're invincible in that particular arena. Now, Johnny's told this story on the podcast before, but it's one of my favorites. The first time that you
The first time I got drunk was, my mom, she liked her scotch. She liked Scotch on the rocks. And so I decided I was going to try it. My mom likes it, so I'm going to try it.
Sure.
it's good enough for mom.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I probably, it was like Scotch, and I think there's some whiskey and some vodka, and I mixed all 3 together into a glass, and I drank it all. And I started really feeling weird, obviously, because I'd never been drunk before. And I decided, I'm going to get some ice cream. So I hopped on my bike, and it's about a half a mile.
Oh, yeah. The bike, when you're drunk, is always
not good.
Yeah.
And I'm like 11, 12 years old. I'm going up the hills. It's a very hilly area, and I barely make it to Baskin Robbins. And there's this thing called the Matterhorn. It was a giant sundae with 12 scoops of ice cream.
Holy.
So, and they knew I was fucked up, man. Because I was just kind of like bobbing around. I'll take that. And I got it all, and I went outside, and I ate it all. Just sat down. There was like a curb stoopy thing outside. I just ate it all. Got on my bike, and maybe got 2 or 3 blocks, and I hopped off fell off the bike, and fucking just puked all over one of the yards.
Oh my God!
And then I went home and tried out one of my dad's cigars. So no.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say.
I never heard the cigar story.
Fuck my neighbor.
And then I was wanted for murder.
Yeah.
No, that's
There's always got to be a murder involved. I've done that before, though. I've done the. Have you ever done the vomit and then it's time to go get another drink? You know, that's when you know you're really
like
okay.
That's all I need to do.
Yeah,
is throw up a
I
little
feel
bit.
better now. Yeah, it's time to go get
Round 2.
cocktails.
Here we go.
Yep. Yeah, I did that at OU, while tripping and on Quaaludes.
Wow.
On a Halloween.
See,
Just threw up right in the alley in the street, and it's like, hey, it's time to go get some more alcohol.
I was always pretty much compartmentalized when it came to, like, if I was in college, if I was going to smoke pot, I was smoking pot.
Yeah.
And if I was going to drink, I was drinking. If I was going to drop some acid, I definitely wasn't going to do anything else. I was very sectioned.
Yeah.
You know,
He would just read some poetry and chill out.
Yeah,
right.
That's the way I would do it. And we drank in high school, but I don't remember getting. We drank. We had 3-2 beer.
Right.
Okay.
I remember. Yeah.
Right. 3-2 beer. We drank a lot of the shit wines, the Annie Green Springs, the Mad Dog 2020s, the Boone's Farm, Strawberry Hill.
Arbor Mist.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the first time I got like sick was in West Virginia because we had fake IDs when we were 16, and you had to be 18 to drink in West Virginia. So we had fake IDs to go to West Virginia, and I remember drinking. I got sick on ouzo.
Ooh.
For the first time. Yeah. I drank a lot of ouzo, and I just remember we were drunk, and we went to it was called Elby's, which was the big boy version.
Yeah.
Elby's was a big boy.
Right.
And it's funny that the little details you remember. I got the Slim Jim, which was just basically a nice ham and cheese sandwich that was toasted up. It was delicious. And I remember throwing that up in the toilet and feeling my life just like,
I feel you, man. Rocky Road doesn't come up very good either.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I would have loved this. I'm trying to envision you just drunk and ordering Matterhorn now, all of it.
Get the biggest one you got.
Barkeep. Yeah, I want all 12 scoops. I know what I'm doing. I know who I am.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, ouzo, and then
Drink. Yeah. But back then you would drink anything, right, that you could get your hands on.
Right.
And you didn't know, like, you used to drink, lemon drops and all these, like, sweet shots. And, it's like, drink Rumpelmans and, all this.
You didn't know any better,
sugary. Yeah,
Sure.
it's like
whatever.
on top of whatever else you were drinking, because it just sounded like a good idea. Whatever this purple shit is, I'll drink that, And then you learn as you get older, hopefully, like, I think I will just stick with a glass of bourbon, or, I'm going to just have a beer.
And it's kind of where I'm at
if
now.
you can do that, if you have the capacity.
And in the 5 years we've been doing this podcast, and I'm doing this with affection, but I'm gonna call these two gentlemen out who I can't do the podcast without. But and when it comes to long-term drinking, I better find somebody else to go long-term drinking with because both of them get there fast.
Yeah.
And I credit their thin statures.
Yeah.
I'm a thirsty drunk. I learned that term recently. Thirsty. You just drink a lot.
They're sprinters. You're a marathon. guy.
Yeah, right?
You know, right?
And when I start swaying, it's over with, and then I fall.
Yeah.
I saw
Sway.
him. I saw him miss a park bench completely. We were at a.
There were two of them. How can I miss two park
There
benches?
was two of them. We were at a film festival for our film, The Street Where We Live. Currently still streaming on Amazon. And we were down there afterwards and having a good time. And Johnny had reached that level. And he goes, I got to sit down. He goes, sit down, dude. And he sat down. And
Remember, there's
Not
like
where he
there's a
wanted.
group of black people out there smoking, and they
Yeah.
just started. They loved
laughed
that.
at you.
yeah. They were amused by you. Yeah. I was amused by you.
That's funny.
Like I said, how do you miss two benches?
Were there two, or
Jeff-
were you just seeing two?
I was
Yeah,
just
right,
saying
right.
too. Yeah,
There's
for
four.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point about you just drink like whatever you could get. Like I don't think I ever. I think there should be like alcohol education. I mean, I'm kind of goofing, but I'm serious.
I think there is actually
Really?
some sort of. I think if you want to get educated in alcohol consumption, I think you could do it on your own.
Well, no. Well, I did that, but you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know what 151 was. Sure, I'll drink 151.
Yeah, right.
Splat. You know, like I don't know. You know, why was I drinking this terrible fucking lemon drops when I
Yeah.
could have had Buffalo Trace? You know, like
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
you
There's so
try all kinds of stuff,
Yeah.
especially when you're younger. And
Rumplemans, I remember
Goldschlager was a
amaretto puffs. Do you remember
thing.
amaretto
Yeah.
puffs where
Oh.
you would there was amaretto and something and you would slam it. It would
Oh,
foam
all
up.
the
Yeah.
slammers, yeah. You drink all kind, and that sugary stuff is
Oh,
what
it's
gives
the
you the
worst.
hangover.
Yeah.
And but that was like part of the festive, part of drinking, is the shots thing. And there are certain holidays too. Like
Oh,
New
God.
Year's Eve is always just a disaster for hangovers because you're having cocktails. Well, you got to have champagne later. Well, you probably
Yeah.
had a glass of wine with dinner,
Champagne
and then
always
so
give me a
you're
headache.
doing. You've got no. Now I realize I've been drinking vodka, wine, and champagne. Boy,
yeah.
I'm gonna feel great tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna kill that with some beers and
yeah.
smoke some pot on top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what a and what a shitty way to because I don't do New Year's Eve anymore. I've retired. I can't remember the last time I actually went out and did it up on New Year's.
Yeah.
Because what a shitty way to start the year, feeling like crap.
It
You
is.
know?
It
It's
really
just-
is.
It's just, no, it's not the way I want to go into it anymore. But you mentioned that no vodka for 30 years. That's still me today as we speak with tequila.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like that that had
and-
that bad tequila experience.
And it was with my buddy Vic Henley, the dearly departed Vic Henley, comedian extraordinaire, one of the funniest people ever, who passed away a few years back. And we were doing tequila shots after the show at the Funny Bone, and Vic could drink tequila like nobody's business, and I was just trying to keep up with him. It wasn't my regular drink, and I remember he was telling a story. You know, Vic would always he's very animated, tell a story.
Yeah.
And he's telling a story, and he burped. He belched, okay? He didn't throw up. He belched, but when he belched, he brought up, yep, that's Vic. When he brought up a very firm, I called it a tequila brooch. I called it a tequila brooch. It came out and it was right here. sat right here on his shirt. He burped and came up, and he kept on telling the story. And he's telling the story, and he's got his hands up, and he's animated, and he's telling this great story, and I'm just watching the tequila brooch shake, shake and shimmer right there. And I'm fascinated. I'm like, it's not moving. It's there. It's right there, and it's not moving. It's not going
he know
anywhere.
he had-
No, he didn't know. He had no idea. No idea. And then we continued to drink, and that is the one in the time that I woke up and did not know, and that scared me, because I woke up on the floor of my apartment at the time, little apartment in Clintonville, and had no idea how I got there.
Yeah.
And when I burped, I didn't throw up, I didn't get sick, but when I burped, I almost took the smell of tequila. And now when I even smell tequila, and I know that they make some magnificent tequilas.
Yeah.
There's coffee flavored ones and so forth. But this was just good old fashioned hardcore tequila. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't even get near it still. And when I woke up that morning, I'm like, okay, tequila's off the list.
Yeah, I had several of those. I mean, anybody who's done a great amount of drinking has had that moment where you wake up, and it's bright and early, like 12:30 in the afternoon, and you're like, where am I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh shit, how did I get here?
Right.
Yeah, I've had that a couple of times, and then I go out and see my car's there, and it's like, well, did somebody drive me home, or did somebody take me home and deliver my car? And so you go out and walk around your car and like inspect it to see what did I hit anything on,
Yeah.
Murder.
Now I'm wanted for
There's
murder.
a man stuck in the grill. It's like
it's there's a lot of scary things that can happen, and I don't these days, I knock wood. I've never been pulled over for intoxication, driving while intoxicated. Mm-hmm. The only time I did get pulled over was on Halloween, but I got a speeding ticket. But I thought at the time I was being pulled over for drinking, and I had been drinking, but I had stopped like 3-4 hours ahead of time. And I remember getting pulled over in Worthington, Chip.
Yeah.
In Worthington, and I was still dressed in my Halloween costume, which at the time was when the first Pirates of the Caribbean had come out and was a huge success. And I was dressed Johnny Depp-like with a parrot on my shoulder as well. and the parrot was still there. And I remember the flashing lights, getting pulled over, and I'm like, I was trying to just get back home as fast as I could after the night was over.
You see those lights, and your heart just jumps in your throat, and you're like, "Oh God, here we go."
And he said to me, he goes, "Have you been drinking this evening?" And straight faced, I said, "Officer, no, actually, I've been the designated driver this evening, and I was just, I'm late getting home and from taking other people home." He goes, "You sure you haven't been drinking?" And I said, "Officer, look at me. I'm dressed like a pirate and I have a parrot on my shoulder. Do you really think I want to go to a drunk tank dressed like this?" He said, "You make a good point. I actually pulled you over for speeding." I said, "Yeah, I was. I'm late getting home. I was rushing to get home. I'm going to have to write you up for speeding." I go, "Deal."
Write it up.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Well, and I did get a DUI. It was on my wife's birthday, and I was the designated driver.
Oh, no.
And it was right when they lowered the limit to 0.08. This was what, 25 years ago or whatever. And since it was her birthday, I was letting her drink, and I had literally, I was going to have 2 all evening, and I did. I only had 2 drinks. And so we're heading home. It's like 1:30, and I felt, and I had stopped, like you, I had stopped drinking. I had 2 drinks. We were there from 8 o'clock till 1:30, 2 drinks over the whole evening. I felt stone cold sober. So I get pulled over, and because it's 1:30, and the state trooper pulled me over for going 60 and a 55.
Okay.
And just wanted to see what I was up to because it was late at night, and asked me if I wanted to do the sobriety test. I go, "Yeah, I'll do it," because I was like, and so he said that I was drunk and took me to, but I didn't think I was. I blew, and I was barely over. But, at the time I thought, well, this is bullshit.
Right.
Because I'm not even that drunk. But then again, I thought about that other story I just told you, where I got home and I had no idea. And there were many of those. So, you know, I
Life-
think
life-
it just kind of balanced. It was karma
Life
coming back to
evens
get me.
itself
It's
out.
like, you know.
You bring up an interesting point about getting pulled over, and in a future episode here on Whiskey Business, and I'm telling you guys right now, this will be an episode where you will not be driving home. You will get a designated driver,
Yeah, I'll bring
or
Jen along.
or an Uber or somebody to take you home, because my good friend John Saya, who is a DUI attorney, is going to bring the breathalyzer machine here to the podcast.
Yeah.
There was.
I want to be like Johnny Fever.
Yeah. You are? Yeah. Because I remember years ago when he had a version of it, because the breathalyzer, there's some debate as to how accurate it could be. And he had a party at his house one time, and the people were testing the breathalyzer. And it's interesting because
Party trick.
But you know, and people were drinking. It was a party, but you know, he had this new machine, and it's interesting because sometimes it's also apparently what you eat as well.
Yes.
Because I had that night. At that particular party, I had 6 or 7 shots of Jack Daniels over the course of the evening, along with some beers, and then I blew under.
Wow.
Under. His daughter, his youngest daughter at the time, had a slice of Wonder Bread. Wonder Bread. Good old-fashioned white Wonder Bread. And some of the chemicals that are and stuff that's in them, and she blew over from a slice of Wonder Bread.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
The Wonder Bread.
He wasn't
I
drinking.
was on Wonder Bread.
He was eating sandwiches. Case dismissed. No, and now that technology has gotten more sophisticated since that particular party.
Sure.
So John Saya will be joining us with the machine and telling us the do's and the don'ts of what you should do if you ever do get in that situation. So it'll be educational, and of course we'll have some fun. But nobody drives home that night.
Yeah.
or eat some Wonder Bread.
Right.
Yeah. You know, but that brings up another point. Like, you know, we've all had cocktails on an empty stomach.
Right.
And, you know, it goes almost like you're mainlining it, or it goes right into your bloodstream. Because I know, at least for me, if I haven't eaten and I have some cocktails, you know, it goes right to my head. You know, so it does matter what you've eaten. If you've had a full meal, you can have a couple cocktails and barely feel the effects.
Right.
You know,
But you blow what you blow.
yeah, you
I mean,
blow what.
and
It doesn't mean you're gonna beat the.
And everybody's
breathalyzer.
body's chemistry is different
Sure.
in how it absorbs and processes alcohol.
Yeah.
I apparently am some sort of freak of nature in that respect. But as I've gotten older, it's just like there's, you know, with the arrival of Ubers and Lyfts and so forth, there's
no reason.
There's really no reason.
Yeah.
You know, other than your own stupid self-confidence that you can do it. And, you know, I can make it, you know.
Well, that's the other thing with alcohol. You
Judgment.
tend not to make the best decisions when you're drinking. You know, that's seems like a good idea at the time, as the theme of our
Yeah,
but
it seemed like a good
yeah, right.
idea at the time.
But-
I was only a mile away.
Right.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Not that
Not going to
far.
get an Uber to go a mile.
Right. And you know, that's the thing. You'll do crazy shit when you're drunk. You know, not me personally. I think I know my limitations, or have learned them. You know, maybe when I was younger, we would do crazy stuff. Like, I grew up on Lake Erie, so you would do, you know, we would party and go out on boats, and you know, it's illegal to drink and drive a boat too, but apparently back in the 70s nobody gave a shit,
Right.
you know, so people were just, if you've ever been to Put-in Bay, I mean, those people everybody up there's trashed,
Right.
you know. So we would go out and just open up boats and get shit faced and just climb up on the top and jump in. You know, you thought you were indestructible though in your early 20s.
You did.
You know, just do stupid shit. You go, oh man, I almost drowned.
Awesome! Oh, you're a legend.
Cool.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And let's throw in how your inhibitions come down
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of the mistakes that we made and over the course of and what people say when they're drunk.
Yes. Yeah.
And which I put a caveat in there because I'm of the firm belief on some level that if you said something that you regret while you were drunk, you probably wanted to say it when you were sober, but you chose not to. You chose to have some discretion, and that discretion goes away. And I think a lot of truth does come out when you're in that state of mind. And some of the things, I made a mistake and I slept with somebody.
Yeah, right.
But I was drunk. Well, yeah, but maybe you always wanted to, and that was just your inhibitions being brought back down. Just a theory.
No, that's absolutely true. I mean, I know people in recovery, and part of it is just part of the whole recovery process is being honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. And, why? That's one of the reasons why I stopped drinking. Like, why do I drink so much? And the thing is with me is like, I stopped because I couldn't stop. Once I started, I didn't drink every day.
Right.
It wasn't a problem. It didn't keep me from doing my work. But once I started, it was game on. I'm going to get as shit-faced as I can.
I've never...
And it doesn't matter whether it's dinner with another couple. Why? And my wife would bring this up. Why do you have to be the drunkest person? You had 4 glasses of wine. Everybody else had 1. It's like, I thought it was a party.
Yeah.
That's why, because that was my mindset. And so you have to start asking yourself and get honest with yourself. It's like, why am I doing this?
That's what I struggle with too.
Yeah.
Like,
why do I?
And I had to learn it here specifically. Like, I can have 1 whiskey and be cool.
Yeah,
and
right.
Not have to.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's not a race.
Right.
Right. It's not a race. But again, it goes to that thing, that mentality that I had of, when I bartended or when I, it's like everybody else is way ahead of me. I got to catch up. So I just kind of conditioned myself to drink fast and get fucked up as much as I can so I can join the party, and now we're having a good time. And it was like over years of just condition. That's just the way I drank.
We mentioned it being sober September for a lot of people who decide to go on the wagon. When I was on the road, comedian, I mean, this is back when comedy clubs were open from a Tuesday to a Sunday. I mean, and if you're on the road and you're working 3 weeks out of the month, you're in a bar pretty much all the time.
Exactly.
And once again, my good buddy Vic Henley, I stole this idea from him. He would do the January-June clean out at the start of the year. He would not drink the month of January, and he would also do it again in June and not drink. And it was kind of his own personal check mark to Gage. If I can't go a whole month without drinking, maybe I've got a problem that I need to address. And I did that for years. I don't do it so much anymore, but this podcast has kind of ruined that. But
blame the podcast.
Yeah, blame the podcast.
It's work.
Yeah,
Jeff.
it's
No,
work.
but-
I got to work. Yeah.
No, but as I've gotten older, and I go to bars with friends, and they're like, we'll do a beer and a couple shots, and then somebody order another shot, and I go, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that. And during the pandemic, a lot of people's alcohol
Yes.
What else
content
you don't have to go to work.
increased.
Yeah.
A lot of people started drinking more, and I think a lot of people ended up getting a check like, okay, that's too much.
Right.
I don't need to be drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning, but there was nothing else to do. Yeah, there is something else you can do.
Yeah.
But
There's always something else you can do.
and I like my whiskey. I like my whiskeys. I make another joke. It's another quote from the book. I don't drink compulsively. I drink consistently. There's a difference.
There is.
There
There
is.
actually is. Because I was compulsive.
Yeah,
I mean,
sounds
and
compulsive.
because I would go weeks at a time without anything, and then but when I did drink, it was like the first. It's the old cliche: once too many, and a million's not enough.
Right, right.
That's the way it was for me. So I just decided, I'll just stop. You know, it's not like I had to go to rehab or, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I just had to take a look at myself and my habits and just make a life choice.
You feel
know?
better?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel healthier. I'm actually losing weight.
Yeah,
it's a lot
alcohol,
of empty calories.
a lot of calories in alcohol.
You know, I'm trying to take care of myself better with exercise and diet and things like that.
So how long did you stop? How long?
I've been a month sober
Huh?
since actually on the 15th, so
Nice.
only a month or so.
Oh.
I tried a month prior to that, and then I fell off the wagon and got shit-faced by myself in a hotel room, which again was a red flag to me. I went
By
to visit my
yourself,
parents,
yeah.
my mom for her birthday out of state, and I stayed in a hotel. And as soon as I had a drink at dinner, and as soon as I left dinner, I was like, you know, we're going to go celebrate tomorrow. I'm just going to go pick up a 6-pack and a pint and, you know, smoke a bowl and, you know. And I proceeded to get shit-faced that the next morning when I met him for breakfast, I'm hungover. I'm like, why am I doing that?
Yeah.
You know, what am I doing? I'm here to celebrate my mom's 86th birthday, and I'm hungover, you know. And it's like, this has got to stop. Yeah. And then I got to ask myself, why? Why am I doing that? Why do I feel so inadequate that I feel I have to, you know, separate myself from reality,
Right.
basically. So I stopped smoking pot then too.
Yeah,
'Cause
well,
was
I remember when you quit smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, good for you. So,
Yeah.
in the immortal words of Adamant, don't drink, don't smoke. What do you do?
Diet and exercise, man. Look at my buff bod. Yeah, yeah,
Well, no,
yeah.
some people do go to they replace it with another extreme.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
you
pretty
know?
common. You know, I'm not going to give up coffee. You know, I couldn't do that.
No. Although then you would be wanted for murder.
Yeah, I would. No, I haven't really replaced it with anything. I do have a cocktail, you know, because I had that ritualistic kind of cocktail. So now I just have like a sparkling water with a little dab of fruit juice in it
Right.
in the evening. And that's
Yeah,
my...
some of these are
it's-
great. They're
yeah,
crutches.
yeah.
Like we're drinking the Liquid Death. These things are
Yeah.
called Curious. They're just like non-alcoholic.
I found that when I would do
mixers.
the January-June clean out and I was amongst my drinking friends that they would actually get defensive.
Some people, yeah.
Yeah, like,
isn't that weird?
yeah, you
And it's
like-
like you're not trying to convert
No,
anyone.
I'm not.
You know,
this
and
is-
I'm not either. It's
This
like
is my choice.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you know, quit being such a puss. Drink.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you think you're better than me because you're not? No, I
Yeah.
never said that.
Yeah.
I never said I was better than you because I'm not drinking. I'm just choosing to take this month off. Leave me alone. You know.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. You can't change other people. You can only change yourself.
Right.
You know? And it's like anybody in recovery is like, you know, understands that. You can only control your own universe, and you know. So I would never, even when I stopped smoking, you know, because a lot of times people, because when I smoked, the people who stopped smoking were the worst. Ooh,
Yeah.
get that out of here! Oh God,
Oh,
you're killing
no,
everyone
trust
in
me.
there. And it's like,
I
and
feel
they
like
were the worst. And I was like, if I ever quit smoking, I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm a pariah. I'm a leper. I know
Yeah.
it. I would, and I do wish I could quit smoking. And I've tried. I've tried cold turkey.
That's
I've
the
tried,
thing. You try.
I've tried acupuncture. I've tried hypnosis. I've tried cold turkey. I've tried. I've been successful for like a month at a time, but yeah.
What's your trigger? What I mean, when you say you stop for a month, so that's like long enough to kind of detox, because
Right.
it is an actual physical
Say it takes about
addiction.
14 days, 2 weeks is what they say to get it out of you.
So what
Yeah.
what was the trigger that made you pick them back up again? And say, I
sh-
gotta have a cigarette.
Stress.
Stress.
Probably stress.
Yeah.
Probably also it was depression as well would come into play as well, and
Yeah.
they were my.
It's a stimulant. I mean, that nicotine is
Yeah.
a stimulant. So when you're
20 little friends.
Oh, what is that? Lucky Strikes?
Lucky Strikes, yeah. They started
they
making
the-
them.
Want one?
You want?
No. Yeah. Next, you'll find me asleep in the grass out there with a needle in my arm. Yeah, so go right off the deep end. Nah,
They started making.
Do they have filters on them now?
These
or?
they started making them with filters now. Yeah.
I saw somebody. There's a smoke shop where I buy my lotto tickets because I'm going to win one day.
So am I, right?
And
so now all the money you spent on booze is going to lotto.
yeah,
baby.
exactly. I can't even have a party now. And so some lady was talking about give me the Pall Malls, and it's like because my uncle used to smoke Pall Malls, and they were non-filtered. They only make them with filters now.
No, they still make Pall
Do
Mall.
they?
Oh yeah, they still.
Okay,
And they still.
That's what the guy said. Was that they all have filters now.
No, you can still get Lucky's non-filters, which I used to smoke. I also used to smoke Chesterfield non-filters.
Right, I remember that.
These came on the market great and so forth, they're. Look at me rationalizing. They're reasonably priced compared to other cigarettes.
Who else is buying Lucky Strikes? Everybody that used to smoke Lucky Strikes is dead. They died about 30 years ago.
Actually, I will tell you, as a smoker,
yeah,
that's
the healthiest cigarette on the market.
No. Smoking aids digestion. That's what some of the old ads for the.
You have a cold.
I
think you should. I'm gonna write you a prescription for menthol.
Yeah. No, when I would smoke a non-filtered cigarette, it was far more satisfying, and I would smoke one and be done for a while, as opposed to smoking. Well, how many have I had here in the podcast? 3. I guarantee you, if I had a non-filtered Lucky, I wouldn't have had 3 cigarettes in this ashtray before it was all said and done.
Wow. And that was my thing too with smoking. I guess I'm obsessive compulsive. Maybe it's part of that ADD thing, but
you have ADD.
Yeah, ADHD, adult ADD. Which is I've read that it's pretty common that people who have that also, because they focus on one thing at a time, are susceptible to abuse of things. So maybe that's why I drink too much. But I could, because I was that way with cigarettes. I mean,
one after the other.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't. And you have those that after the meal cigarette. There's those ritualistic cigarettes.
I have
with a cup of
ritualistic
coffee,
cigarettes.
You know.
I don't leave this house in the morning to go to work without a cup of coffee and a smoke.
Right.
To start the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Coffee and cigarettes were like meant for each other.
Right.
It seems like.
Yeah.
I always had to have those, and then right before I quit, though, I turned into a fiend. Because I knew I was quitting on January 1, and I bought a carton of Marlboro. I switched from Marlboro Lights. I'm going to the heavy one. I'm going to try to kill myself with tobacco. And I started smoking like 2.5 packs a day, just lighting one after the other. And then I quit cold turkey.
Wow.
Boom.
So,
good for you, man.
Because I quit. I just said I quit. I didn't say I'm going to try to quit, because you're already giving if you say I'm going to try.
I'm going to try to quit. Yeah.
You're already giving yourself an out.
Right.
Oh, I tried. I couldn't do it.
You make a very good
Yoda
point.
said the same thing.
So I just
very
said,
good point.
I quit, just like I did with drinking. I quit. I'm done. I'm 60. Fuck it. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, and I don't know how many examples I need. My father died at 82 years of age from lung cancer. I buried him.
Yeah.
In Greece, and I remember my cousin, who was very close to my father. He says we were smoking out on. He goes, I'm done. I'm seeing your dad, waste away in that bed. And he still, every time I talk to him, he goes, you still smoking? I go, yeah. He goes, you? He goes, nope. He quit. He quit. He didn't try to quit. You said he quit. You got to make the commitment.
Yeah.
And I have not been able to make that commitment in respects to cigarettes. I'm weak. I'm weak. We got to start wrapping things up, man. But I tell you one thing, you haven't quit. You are still the engaging, funny man that I know and love. And
thank you.
And you're in real estate. Hansberry mentioned it earlier.
Yes.
You're in real estate. Yeah. Has it made you sharper? Or do you feel better at your job?
Yeah. I feel more committed. And that's the other thing. There's a lot of like lenders. Realtors are always trying to get, title companies or lenders try to, hey, we're having a happy hour. Come on, and I used to go to those just for the beer. They would, they would just have an open bar. So And then I realized, what are you doing? This is supposed to be a professional thing, you know, and I'm just going there to drink, you know. And I would use these people as professionals, but I mean, you know, I just understand it's just part of the game,
Right.
You know. And but no, I think it has made me sharper. It's made me more dedicated to my work, and you know, I have other things to focus on now besides getting fucked up all the time.
Or recovering the next morning.
Yeah,
That was always
or
my
recovering
thing.
the next morning. Yeah, right.
It was
I
the
can
next
get,
2
I can get up
days.
at 8 a.m. and feel all right. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And it's going well.
Yeah, going
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
The market's kind of slowed down. You know, they jumped the interest rate up, and
Yeah,
people
that-
just bailed.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know, it's like the
My
interest-
friends bought a house at 3%, and you're charging me 6%.
Yeah, I know, 6%. I'm out of here. You know, and it's like, you know, you try buying a house back in the 80s.
In
when
the
it was
70s, yeah.
70s, it was 18%.
18%, 22%.
Or even in the early 2000s. I mean,
Yeah.
my first house, I think we paid like 8 or 9%. You know, it's like, or that was in the 90s, I guess. But, you know, it's still relatively low. Money's still cheap. The market, although, because the inventory's so low, the home values have gone up.
Yeah.
A great deal. They've kind of leveled off, but
Have they? Because
Yeah.
we keep hearing about, and this is our your little real estate tip here on Whiskey Business before
Yeah,
we close
yeah.
out. We heard that the outrageous prices are starting to come back down again.
Yes.
Because I checked my house out recently, and
Yeah.
someone said you should sell now, man, because you're not going to get what you can get now in 2 years. I'm like, well, don't have any intention of not being here in 2 years. So
yeah,
And
right.
then where are you going to go?
Yeah,
anyway?
yeah, where-
Right,
that's it,
and then
yeah.
you got to find someplace else to go. That's the
I'm
big
going to stay
problem.
here until it's time for Hansberry to take me to the home.
God, I want me now.
You're the youngest.
I can't
It falls
count.
on
I
you.
can't count on Whitney. He might get there before me.
Yeah.
Plus, I got a bad back, so
Keeps eating those sundaes and drinking scotch.
Oh man. Thank you, buddy. I really,
thank you.
really,
Thanks
really
for having
appreciate
me.
it. We needed some laughs here this week, and I'm glad that despite some of the insanity that we've all gone through the years, and there's probably a lot more in the vault. Tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
We could actually do a whole podcast on just that week
Yeah.
after week, but
I had to stop myself like 3 times. Like, I did that. Yeah.
no. In fact, if I were to look in my comedy journals that I kept through, I kept comedy journals from my first open mic till the time I came to Sunny 95. So from 1989 to 94, there's books upstairs that have all those stories written down.
Oh, going all the that was part of the fun too. You know, you're performing, but you wanted to see the cities you were going to see, right? So you're going out, and the staff would usually accommodate. You know, you'd find somebody that would, hey, yeah, let's go to this bar, let's go to this, after the show's over, So yeah, you get to check out the local nightlife of Omaha, Nebraska, or whatever.
But some of those
you're in,
some of those crazy adventures are
in the journal
written down.
Oh, nice.
That's your next movie right
Yeah.
there.
There you go.
No, that's my next bonfire.
If anybody ever got a hold of that, that's right.
All right, Hansberry, let's wrap it up here before I say an official goodbye to Jeff Gage.
Thanks for subscribing to your favorite podcast. Wait, thanks for subscribing to Whiskey Business on your. I'm not even drinking.
Yeah. So that's good. That's a good note for me. It
Well,
doesn't matter if
take
you're
two.
drinking or not.
And I was sitting here thinking, I was
You
like, I
still
want to
mess
get
it up.
Taco Bell. So I was like, so the Taco Bell cravings on the way home that doesn't have anything to do with the alcohol either.
Oh,
see,
yeah.
See what
White Castle.
See what you've learned.
Yeah.
When has anybody ever eaten White Castle sober?
Right.
Right? Alcohol has kept them in business for years.
Johnny,
I like White Castle.
Oh, okay. See, you're the outlier.
I am the
Yeah.
Whiskey Business is your podcast about whiskey, not so much as it is one with whiskey. Like tonight, it's with a pot of coffee. Thank you for subscribing on your favorite
I
podcasting
still don't
app.
think you got that right.
It's close. I see
sounded
what
good
I
to
see
me.
what you were doing.
What else? This is on YouTube. So if you're listening,
Okay.
thank you. Find us on YouTube, Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis. Smash that subscribe button.
Smash it.
Smash.
Smash it.
Or gently rub it.
Tickle it.
Massage.
Activate the subscribe button. Click the little bell too, because you'll get a notification whenever we get a new video up. Whiskey Business is on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. WhiskeyBusinessPod.com is our website. Thanks to Evergreen Podcasts.com. They're our parent company. Thank you for voting for us.
Yes.
For
and
the Columbus Podcast Awards.
Again. Thank you. So where'd it go?
Yeah, took it away.
Okay.
And
So
then
that's okay. It's okay. Sorry. You can leave it there. Yeah. Thank
also, we'll put more stuff on social media.
you.
There it is.
Da-da-da. Thank you.
Our Halloween episode, live Halloween episode,
Yeah.
October 11th, Tuesday, October
Li-
11th.
We'll be doing it live. It won't be live streaming or anything like
Correct.
that.
Yeah,
Right.
we want you to come out
We
and
want
buy
you
a
to
ticket.
come out and join us
Yes.
as we record that
Right.
podcast.
Experience it.
Experience
The
it,
Whiskey
yes.
Business Experience.
Exactly.
Anyway, mark your calendar now and come join us 7 p.m. at 451 in Clintonville. We've got George and Hope, who are the horror movie experts, and our buddy Chip, or your Chip, our buddy Bucky Cutright.
Let me smell this.
Oh, what is this? All right, I'm done.
Thanks for the shout out. Yeah. All right. So this has been great, and I've had 4 cups of coffee. So
See you tomorrow.
I'm going to be up all night.
yeah, exactly. You're never. Do you have to go on the air
Oh
tomorrow?
yeah, tomorrow morning. Yeah. No, actually, I joke about that. I could drink 4 cups of coffee and go right to bed.
Really?
Yeah.
I wish I could do that. I would drink coffee all day long.
Yeah.
If I had a cup of coffee now, I would be up pacing the floor at like 6 a.m. going, oh, God damn it, I need to go to bed. Yeah.
No, I can go when I'm tired. I'm tired.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you only sleep like 3 hours a
I
night
know.
anyway.
I still.
Still?
Still tonight. I won't be. I won't go to bed tonight till probably after midnight.
Wow.
And I say it's because of the coffee. He says, no, it's not the coffee.
No, it's not the coffee.
All right.
I think you know what the problem is. I think because I've learned to appreciate the afternoon nap. I get I take the 45-minute nap, the Da Vinci nap, and I think that's got a lot to do with it.
Okay.
It has to. Yeah,
45
it-
minutes?
42 minutes actually, I think
Yeah.
is what Da Vinci did. Maybe 45. Yeah, he would sleep for 45 minutes and get up and work for 5 to 6 hours, and he would sleep again for 45 minutes, get up and work for 5 to 6 hours, and that's how he was so prolific and got so much shit done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not painting any chapels or anything.
No, but you're like the Howard Stern of Columbus. You're a filmmaker, a podcast, radio personality, writer.
Yeah.
You got your hands in everything, man.
Yeah.
Now I know why you invited him on.
Yeah.
Yeah, stroke your ego.
Yeah, thanks.
That'll be $20.
Thank you much.
No,
All right.
but I mean, you are Da Vinci in a sense that you can accomplish
I like it.
all that
That's,
stuff. I mean,
it's the people I work with that help me out. I couldn't do this without John Whitney on the video side. Thank you. Greg Hansberry on the audio side. Even though there's only the 3 of us, we call our buddy Chip Cassell the 5th Beatle.
Yeah.
Even though you would actually make 4, but it's funnier when you say the 5th Beatle. And our guest tonight, my buddy Jeff Gage. Man, continued success on this new journey that you're on, man. I applaud it. I support it. To anybody else out there who's doing the same thing, we support you as well. You know where to go if you need to get help for anything like this. And I think the biggest thing you have to do is admit it to yourself, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
It's got to start with you. So until I usually close with until the next bottle, which we will have on the next podcast. Yeah. See ya.